Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. Today's episode is about exit routes and choices that we make when we have to choose an exit route. Let me give you a scenario. John is on his way to his office one morning. He gets on a three-lane interstate. In another 2 miles, he would need to take the exit toward his office. He notices that the rightmost lane is cordoned off a very long way since there's some kind of construction activity going on in that particular lane, in that particular section of the interstate. The other two lanes to the left seem congested with all the outflowing traffic. Now, the inner lane is moving slowly while the outer lane is somewhat fluid. If you were John, what would you do in this situation? Since it's only 2 miles to your exit, you could stick to the inner lane and drift with the traffic until you reach your exit. Between your exit and where you currently are is an intermediate exit that has incoming traffic flowing onto the interstate, which could be the reason for further congestion and slow moving traffic. It might take a little longer, not sure how long, but you will get to your exit eventually. Perhaps the safest option in this congested interstate that you're in. Another option is to watch for an opportunity and get on the outer lane, which has traffic moving a bit more fluidly. You would need to be alert and cautious as you move through this lane and eventually shift to the right lane when you get closer to your exit. You need to be watchful of finding that opportunity and space between the trail of vehicles on your right in time to not move over too soon to get stuck in the slow moving lane and not too late to miss your exit. At the same time, you need to be careful of not causing an accident in this already congested traffic that you are in the midst of. Now, why am I going through this, you might ask, about something as simple as driving on an interstate, which we tend to do subconsciously every single day? This simple task, in fact, translates into something as profound as managing your own career or even your own business. It's amazing how closely our day-to-day lives reflect lessons that can be applied to our actions in canvases larger than ourselves and our daily lives. In everything you do, whether being on the job and seeking to be successful at it, or pursuing success in a project taken up or an enterprise that you have set up, risk is a very integral part. What determines this level of your success is the amount of risk you take and come away managing it successfully and skillfully. In the example given above, John has the less risky option of just being in the inner lane and following the traffic to reach his exit while he watches to maintain his distance between the vehicles in the front and in the back. But the pace of movement is totally dependent on the traffic in that particular lane. He has no control on that. He neither has control on the traffic, he neither has control on the pace in that lane. If the traffic sits for an hour before he inches towards his exit, that is what it's going to be, and he has to deal with it. On the other end, if he takes a risk by getting into that outer lane, while he has to watch out for the vehicles in the front and the rear as he maintains his position and moves along, he also needs to be watchful of the traffic in his right lane to judge where he is in relation to his oncoming exit. He needs to make the correct judgment about moving into the traffic in the right lane. Entering too soon or too late would defeat his purpose. Although there is a little risk and the need for being more alert in the second option, and in fact it also requires more skill to maneuver this option, it would be the ideal one for John if his goal is to reach his exit sooner than later. The time saved by not being stuck in the traffic might be well worth it, but needs some quick decisions and deft execution by John to make it possible. Of course, there are unknown risks, one of which is an accident up front, which could slow down the outer lane too. In such cases, John would need to look for other options or go with the one that works best in that particular situation. Similarly, in our lives and in everything that we do in our careers as employees or as businessmen or as entrepreneurs, there are options. You need to determine what the end goal is and based on that make assessment of what path to choose to get there in the most skillful fashion, in the most efficient fashion, in the right time. Risk is inevitable in everything you do. You can take the risk averse option, but be prepared to not be in control and do not expect much to happen, or you can decide to take a more calculated risk, which will require some ingenuity and exertion on your part, but it will ensure that you have great success. What kind of a person are you? The one who takes the inner lane and lets the traffic determine when you reach your exit? Or the one who gets on the adventure of the outer lane and makes it happen while pulsating with excitement of controlling your journey to your exit? There's another story that I wanted to share with you today as well. Today, September 5th, is what we call the Teacher's Day back in India. And I ended up calling an old friend. His 6-year-old son picked up the phone and we chatted for a few minutes. Now, this kid was animated about an event at home from a few days ago and started relating it to me. His grandfather was felicitated by a group of people who came from different places. I asked him who they were and what did they felicitate him for. He replied that they were a group of 60. Some seemed young, some older, and they had come from different places in India. Some were from abroad too. They came together to honor his grandpa, their teacher from years ago. The little one was thrilled to see the happy crowd and an even happier grandpa. My friend took the phone next, had an equally excited tone, and talked about how thrilled everyone was to come together and honor his father. Now, as I said, September 5th is Teacher's Day in India, and these students of his dad from over the years took the time to come over and meet his father and the family, reminisce about the times they had spent together, and thank him for shaping their lives. By the time I let go of the line, I was excited too. Isn't it amazing? These erstwhile students made an effort to get together, meet and greet their teacher, and show their gratitude. He must have been a wonderful teacher to have left such an indelible mark on these students that they came looking for him. I consider him to be a very successful teacher. Success means many things to many people. What does it mean to you? Revenue, profits, bank balance, power, position, a luxurious lifestyle, large cars, bigger homes, etc., etc., etc. When you really look at the core of any job done, there are two things that matter. At the point in time, do you enjoy what you do and are you giving it your best? Your ultimate goal might be to become a CEO of a company and run your own company, or more generically, to get to the top of the pinnacle of your career. But you may not be there yet. Right now, this moment, there is a job you do and you're responsible and accountable for it. Do you take that seriously? If you do, you ought to give it your very best. Your best will translate into the best possible results on the job, no matter how they're measured. With this affable demeanor, you will make associations that take note, and these combined with the results you show pave the path to your dreams. Going back to the two things I just mentioned, they're enjoying what you do so you can give it your best. That itself is true success. Everything else is an outcome. The emoluments of a job and the perks that come along with it are outcomes, not success. Success lies in the relationships you make along the way, the lives that you impact and improve, the lessons you learn and impart, inspiration you provide, and the respect you command for a job well done. What one would consider as success in terms of material wealth or a better lifestyle are all outcomes of the success you cherish. Outcomes, as we discussed, are natural results of a job well done. Is it a crime to aspire for outcomes? Not at all. But when you focus only on outcomes instead of enjoying what you do and giving it your best, the success measures get compromised and it all remains just that, an aspiration and never a reality. True success is in the relationships you build and maintain over time. There's an old saying that inspires us to count our blessings in the friends and supporters we have. Look for success in your friendships, camaraderie, and in a job well done. Trust me, all else that shapes a happy and fulfilled life must and will follow through for you. If you like what you hear, please make sure that you subscribe and also spread the word. Leave a review or a comment on iTunes. That will help a lot in spreading the word. And do spread the word, share the word with others so that they may enjoy and benefit from this content as well. Thank you.